Hello YouTube and welcome to Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. I am Thermite 917 along with Middleburg 1 and Kane Jr. 88. And we all have NASCAR Heat too. It came out September 12th. Yeah, we all bought it on release day. Been playing it for almost every day. Trying to take in as much as we can, and we are going to review it. It's going to be pretty in-depth. We're going to talk about 12 different categories. Talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, try to be as fair as possible. And to kick things off, we are going to talk a little bit about the physics of the game, more specifically the car handling physics and crash physics. So, Middleburg, why don't you take it away? What do you like and don't like about it?
Well, I'll start off by saying first that I like the fact that it is better than Heat Evolution. This game, obviously, I'll start right off the bat by saying, and as we all kind of figured, it is a copy and paste of Heat Evolution, but is a tweaked copy and paste. And one thing they started off with was tweaking the car handling physics. And I think they did it a little bit better. The car is not as twitchy, so that's a plus for people that had to experience that crap. It's one of the few positives, realistically. It's a very casual game, and you can certainly have fun with the physics of it, but it seems like it's just too arcadey at points, and like you can just go too hard with it. Like you can go really hard with the car, and there's not a whole lot of response, and like you don't really have to have a whole lot of throttle control, and that's one of the negative sides of it. Another negative thing is the way the cars respond to crashes, specifically heavy crashes, and they tend to flip over way too easy. It's like the car doesn't hold a lot of weight. Sometimes it does, and it takes impact into the wall pretty solidly, but if you just hit it at the right angle or whatever, the car starts flipping, going crazy in the air. It's just ridiculous. That's something that was evident in Heat Evolution, and it seems as unchanged coming into Heat 2. Another thing is the way the car goes through grass and handles when you get on the apron. It's like a goddamn skating rink.
Feels like it's on a goddamn skating ring. Fly off to the right and explode. Fly off to the right and explode. Fly off to the right and explode.
Fly off to the right and explode.
Ah!
Okay, it's ridiculous. That's the way it was in Heat Evolution, and it's the way it is in Heat 2. Maybe they altered it, I think. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it twitches and spins quite near as easy, but still it's like you just don't want to go there, and it will upset your car and completely kill your momentum, obviously, if not just spin you out completely. Another thing I don't like with the car physics is, and this is more of like an option for your adjustments and stuff like that, but it doesn't exist. You can't adjust the brake bias while you're in the race like you could in NASCAR 15 and track bar. It's not even an option to change while you're in the pits. You actually have to have a custom setup in order to change these elements. It's not, and to be honest with you, it's not really a small thing, because you think about it, track bar, it's one of your main adjustments for a car. If you want to tighten it or loosen it, you work with the track bar. And with the new package that they have, and the fact that you can have an adjustable track bar inside the car, that entire thing is totally missing. You can't have it. And even if they couldn't have implemented it, it still should have been an option for your pit road. So, I don't know. Just very weird and kind of awkward there. So, that's really the negatives of the car handling physics. But like I said already, you can have a decent time with it. It's mediocre and middle of the road. That's why it gets a 5 out of 10. Our next category is tire wear physics, and that's a big thing in these games. And another thing that's not quite all the way there, Nick. We've tested it quite a bit, and obviously we have the same opinion on most of these things. So tire wear, not too bright, right?
No, I mean, I had very low expectations going into it, but we tested it, and you don't get a lot of wear for the first several laps, even on the highest wear setting. But once you get past like 50% wear on your tires, especially on the right front, that's really the only tire that wears a whole lot at most tracks. But once you get to there, then you kind of start to feel it, you'll start to struggle. Your lap times will fall off a lot more. And then once you get to 0 on one of them, you blow the tire, even online. So that's, I guess, something they did right. But tire wear should be a lot more pronounced. You should be able to run one really good lap, and then the next lap should be, noticeably a little bit slower. I'm also a little bugged. I don't know if this goes with the car handling or tire wear, but it's really hard to get loose, even if you change your setup to make it very loose. So that just plays along to the arcade kind of style. So I do like how it has the percents for each tire, and I think it says the temperatures too, depending on what you're looking at. But anyway, if I were to give a rating, I would say I really don't think I should give it much lower than a 5. I think I'll go with a 5 because it is kind of playing off the physics. So hope you guys agree with that.
We certainly do.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
All right. Well, our next category is the damage model. It is definitely improved from Heat Evolution and more responsive to contact. Like, say you're at Bristol and you go spinning down the front straightaway and banging into the inside wall. It actually does really damages your car, unlike in Heat Evolution where it barely does anything. Like, not only is your front end damaged, but it also damages your radiator, your engine, and it really affects your car. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect per se, but it is definitely much improved. I'm going to give it about 6.
That's not bad, because I think responsiveness is a big thing that you nailed on. Because in Heat Evolution, even 15, if you hit something with the right front, I expect the right front to be damaged and nothing else. And then in terms of mechanical damage too, I think Heat 2 finally started to understand that. I still don't like the crumpling. I don't want my car to look like it is a crumbled piece of paper, but I think in terms of, like I said, the arcade style, it works just fine.
I want to add another point to that, and my gripe with the damage model is kind of the lack of tire rubs, and you don't really see a lot of blackness on the car. You saw that in other games, and especially with like wall hits too. It doesn't really seem like it does a lot. Now, I have noticed when cars do get a decent amount of damage, there's some weirdness on the sides of the cars, and you can tell that there's something damaged there, but it's not really too realistic. And like I said, with the tire rubs, that's just kind of non-existent. So that's my gripe with damage model, but like we've already said, it's not totally there. Improved, 6 out of 10.
Our next topic is graphics and sounds, and I guess I'll start with this one. It's tough to say. If you look at it as a PS4 game in 2017, the graphics are nowhere near where they should be for a racing game. Look at Project Cars 2, for example, that just came out. It's so realistic. Like, you don't know if you're looking at a game or real life. But with Heat 2, it's like some of the grass, like the grass is, I think, the worst part of the graphics. It's just not there. It's too green, too non-textury, if that's a word. The lighting at some tracks is good. The lighting at some tracks is bad. I think they got the reflection on the cars a lot better, especially at night. In terms of design choices, some tracks are too in the afternoon for my liking, where it looks like it's starting to be sunset, whereas in real life the race is more during the daytime. And a lot of it goes with they use this thing called the Unity engine, which we want them to get rid of already. It makes the physics bad. It probably plays into the graphics a lot. It's a glorified mobile game in that term, but for what they have, I think they're making the most of it.
Yeah, you pretty much hit it right on the head, especially with the tracks that are in the afternoon. Very awkward. So it kind of runs right in the middle of the road again for graphics related. Again, you wish it was more. It's not terrible, okay? It's not PS2 quality. If it was that bad, we'd certainly say it. We're not going to sugarcoat it. But again, it's just one of those things. It's a little bit of a letdown. You don't hate it. I do not really mind the way the cars look. I think that they're solid. Like, the paint schemes come off of them pretty well. Like, they kind of do pop. So I think that is a positive there. But just overall as a package, another thing that has to improve. So we go right into sounds and the engine sounds. That's a huge gripe from Heat Evolution. they we don't have to repeat it, but we will. They copied engine sounds from Dirt to Daytona. Well, at least they changed that, and they sound better, but still they really don't sound like they kind of should in real life. And I know that they had some sort of audio device that they had planted on the Keselowski's car during a practice session or something to obviously get a sound reading from the engine itself. And I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know, it obviously didn't do a very good job of transmitting, because it doesn't really sound that great.
I think what I would call the engine sounds is like it's very flat and it lacks character. Like there's no meatiness to it.
No, it really isn't.
It doesn't pack a punch. Like you feel like if you're in the gas, it's like it should get you going, man. But I mean, with Heat 2, it's like, yeah, I'm in the gas, but what of it?
Right.
And another quick thing in terms of sound, which I don't know where else we'd fit it in, but is the soundtrack, which I actually kind of like, because Heat Evolution didn't have a soundtrack. It had a generic loop it wasn't that good. It got annoying. But this one, at least they tried to add some personality to it. None of the songs are really that bad. Just some good old rock, kind of southern rock songs. So I'm okay with it.
They did copy a damn song from one of the Eutechnics games. I still haven't figured out which game it's from, but I know it's from one of the Eutechnics games, okay? So nice job on that one, thinking you were going to sneak it in there and nobody'd notice. Well, I noticed, damn it. I noticed.
Oh, and one more thing for the sounds is the spotter, voiced by Brett Griffin until some other spotter packs come out. He doesn't do a very bad job. He gives you the basics, is pretty accurate with letting you know where on the track certain cars are. He's helped me avoid some wrecks, as opposed to like Heat Evolution or even 15. The spotter was not that great, was just kind of an addition that didn't really do much, but just talk and never shut up. I actually had to turn my spotter off in 15 because I felt I was better without it. But I think, especially in Heat Evolution and Heat 2, with your very limited camera angles and your crappy mirror where the objects are much closer than they appear, and you can't look around your car, you can't really do much with the camera, so the spotter is actually a pretty essential element, especially online where you really don't know where guys are going to go. So I'm pretty happy that they actually put some effort into that.
He just says easy too much. I noticed that.
Yeah, don't run too hard. You don't want to hurt yourself.
But as a package, I think the graphics and sounds go together. It's about a 5.5 out of 10. I don't think it's that much more.
Yeah.
Our next category is the AI, a big topic, obviously, because the AI is, well, the computers you race against, and when you're not online, your career, your single player, and your championship mode. So let's talk about them. The AI aggressiveness is very good. They are not afraid to cross over your shit, and they're willing to rough you up a little bit. They sometimes don't really care, so I think that's a good element of it. Another thing is the AI makes mistakes. They're not totally on rails, and that's a good thing too. You don't want them to just be stiff, inanimate objects that don't ever do anything wrong. They actually have a human sense to them in a way, so that's pretty cool. And they're pretty difficult too. When you put it on 105, they can be difficult. Sometimes it's easy, depends on the track, sure, but mostly it's pretty solid, and you'll be able to doctor the settings to pertain to your skill set. So there's a lot of good things there. A couple of dislikes for sure. First of all, qualifying. This is something that definitely needs to be patched. So hopefully this comment will eventually be outdated, but they are so damn fast. Unrealistically fast, to be honest, because when you compare the qualifying pace to their race pace, it is a very dramatic difference. No matter how fast you are, no matter even if you have a pit set up on, you're probably not going to get the pole. And by probably, you're not going to get the pole, okay? You're just not. They are that quick, and it's like they're on rails, really. So that's a disappointing part of it. Another thing is the AI with stage pitting. And it is ridiculous because the AI has a tendency to where like they just don't care. Even if they do pit, we don't know what they pit for. you always seem to lose so many spots if you take 4 tires. This kind of blends off of the tire wear and how bad it is, and the AI obviously just doesn't care, so they'll pit for like no tires or 2 tires, and again, we don't know, but you seem to always lose a bunch of spots. Another gripe with it certainly would be plate tracks, that they're a little too aggressive. They quite don't care at times, and they're a little bit too forceful, and wreck can be caused pretty easily. But you know what? Overall, the AI just is solid. Another improvement, and it's something they'll continue to expand on, but they got a really good base here. They are pretty solid. You get the right settings and the right racetrack, and things will certainly go well. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for the AI. Alright, our next category is online, and that online is a big thing. It's going to be one of those things you keep playing. That's what you're going to come back for to this game, because once you finish the career mode and you're kind of tired of that part of it will kind of wear out. But you can always come to online. It's a big thing, and it's pretty stable. The Heat Evolution actually it wasn't terrible. You don't have really that bubble lag that the Utechnics games experienced. It was very stable right from the get-go, clean. But it's better and expanded off of Heat Evolution, so that's a good thing. Obviously, with the layout of the lobbies, you can go right into race lobbies, and you can pick whichever race you want to join, or you can do your own, create a lobby, and there's a list of options that you can choose from. Like, there really is just a lot to offer. Sure, there's a little bit of surging and stuff like that happens, but that's mainly a connection issue, so you can't really blame the game for that. You can change your vehicle. There's a gripe with that, and I wish you could change your vehicle while you're in lobby. You didn't have to back out, change it, and then get back in. That's a little bit of a nuisance. There's also a couple of things that are hopefully going to be adjusted through further patches, such as when you join a lobby, let's say you're the first person to join, it automatically starts the timer. And especially in a private lobby, it's the same thing. It's all the same, and you can't start the race whenever you want when you're in a private lobby. That would be kind of a little bit of an issue for leagues, but again, hopefully that's something that is addressed in a future patch. I'd also like to say about the leaderboards. I think it's pretty cool. You have daily leaderboards, lap time leaderboards, overall, weekly. There is all sorts of stuff, and it's like, it's nice because there's not a ton of stats in this game, but for online, it's pretty deep, I'd say. Especially with, I like the main menu screen where you see the active racers, active lobbies, total races run today, and then obviously the entire lifetime races. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a really solid online mode. Nick, you got anything else to add there?
It's quick and simple. You can get right into a race. You can see all the lobbies that are open, see what settings they have. I like the leaderboards as well. I didn't know what I would think about it, but I do kind of like the 5 race running points standings thing they have going, because it kind of, if you're in the lobby long enough, which, if you're with good enough people, you'll probably stick around. So it shows who's the best over the course of 5 races. Like you said, I wish they were a little more in depth with doing certain things while you're in the lobby. Like you can't even change the laps or any settings except the track while you're in the lobbies, so you'd have to back out, start a new one. So it can get kind of annoying, but in terms of a simple online lobby, I mean, it's really quite good. Like Tyler said, if there's surging or anything, it's probably your own connection's fault. It handles big lobbies pretty darn well. With NASCAR 15, it was hard to even get like 8-car lobbies to work. But I think this is one of the strongest points of Heat 2, so I'm glad they are continuing to build on online, and I hope they do even more in the next game.
And also, I want to add a couple of gripes about it, and one of them's online cautions. That's a thing you can have, but when you do get a caution, they're probably the glitchiest part, I'd say, of online. And sometimes a big wreck will trigger it. Sometimes a wreck you would seem like you think could trigger it doesn't. It's really random. And there's also a thing that, again, I hope is addressed in a future patch, that you can get a caution on the last lap, and it will actually run through it as a caution and will make you'll run through a restart, which that doesn't make any sense. The race should be over. Also, I know it is realistic, but I don't like it where the race will be ended on the last lap. There will actually be a caution. When it goes right, there will be a caution, and then that's it. Like, the race will be over, and it'll pop up. It's realistic, but it kind of sucks. We also have to remember this is a video game, and throwing a caution on the last lap, it's not a safety concern, so we don't have to worry about that. Hopefully they get rid of that. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. Other things that it does well, I think that your options like kick player, those are there. That's very handy. The ghosting system is pretty solid. It could be a little more reactive when there's a crash happening, but it's also understandable. People can go backwards all they want, and it'll ghost them, so no issues there. It really is solid, and that's why I'm going to give it a pretty solid rating of an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analysis of that. Good rating. Next topic.
All right. Our next topic is the career mode. Now, this is actually a lot of fun. First of all, once you start, you get like this big video montage of current Monster Energy Cup drivers back when they were driving in the Busch series and the Truck series from like the early thousands. And then you get this video clip of Brad Keselowski saying, "Hey man, I don't have a ride available on my truck team, but I do know a few guys that I can get you in contact with," as quoted by guidance counselor Brad, as David Land on YouTube calls him. But anyways, it starts you out your first season. You're getting offers to drive random trucks, usually lower tier ones. If you meet the objectives, like maybe your first race, they'll want you to finish top 25. If you do that, they'll say, "We'll keep you in mind for a ride next season." And it basically repeats until the very end of the season, and you're doing really good. You get some like better trucks, like for example, Christopher Bell's number 4 truck at Kyle Busch Motorsports. They'll want you to drive it at, say, Chicagoland, and if you get like top 10, top 7, they'll keep you in ride. And then once the season is over, you'll have like a bunch of offers to drive for a bunch of different Truck Series teams, including some really good ones if you did really well during your hot seat season. And one of those trucks, obviously, it's one of the big teams, but one of those is also the one driven by our dear friend Cody Coughlin. Jags! Yep. You can actually replace Cody Coughlin at Thor Sport Racing, which is exactly what both Tyler and myself have done. And we have given that old Ride TV Jegs Tundra something it's never seen before, victory lane.
Damn straight.
Oh, yeah, it's damn straight. Yeah, that's probably the most fun thing about career mode. You can literally take a truck that never wins and bring it right to victory lane. And then when you're doing your full season of trucks, you start to get hot seat offers for the Xfinity Series. Now, just like the trucks, it starts out, in some pretty low-end shitty rides like, Timmy Hill's number 40 car for Motorsports Business Management. And then if you do really good in the shitty rides, you start to get offers for much better rides. Again, once the season is over, once you complete your Truck Series season, you will then get offers from Xfinity teams to drive their cars. And then while I'm running this Xfinity season, I am getting hot seat offers from Cup teams. In fact, I just got a hot seat offer to drive Austin Dillon's car at Dover. And if I get a top 15 finish, they might consider working with you in the future. That is literally the same quote for every team that gives you an offer. And obviously, it's a certain amount of money. Like for this one, it's $190,000 for a top 15 finish. Now, that's another element of this career that's kind of confusing, is all the money you earn. The money doesn't really make sense. It doesn't go towards anything right now, but apparently there's going to be like a DLC or something that comes out in the later months where the money will actually be used for something that you earn in career mode. So, anyways, overall, I'm going to give this career mode a 7. I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but it is definitely one of the better career modes that I've had. I mean, obviously it's nowhere close to, NASCAR Thunder 2004 or NASCAR 05 Chase for the Cup, but it's definitely up there. So, what would you guys say?
Well, I definitely want to jump in and start talking about some other shit, kind of like teams and team ratings. I think their rating system was a little bit off. Like they give a star rating. For example, some of your top teams, let's say Xfinity, JGR is going to be a 5-star team. But I've seen you get a hot seat offer from whatever, Morgan Shepherd Racing, He's like a 3-star team. That doesn't make any sense, all right? We love Morgan Shepherd now, but he's not a 3-star team. He's like a fucking 1-star. Like, come on, NASCAR Heat. Let's just be realistic. We can't be nice to everybody. And it's not even being nice, just saying the truth. Something like that is just a little weird. It's not a huge deal, but it's just weird. I do like the standings, how the point standings are laid out. I think that is cool. It gives you the whole playoff rundown and a needs, wins, and points scenario. That's nice. As far as the statistics element goes, non-existent, which is unfortunate. But so that's a gripe there for sure. The rival system. It's another thing. It's kind of more or less just there as kind of another statistic, but it doesn't really matter. I do know that they start getting a little more aggressive and they'll run you like maybe more like an ass once they're really mad. But ultimately, it's not quite like a NASCAR 2004, like when you see in the drivers would get angry, and once they got to a certain point, they would literally not give you an ounce, and they will drive you like an ass. They will go out of their way to destroy you. That's not what we got going here, so it's something that definitely needs to improve. Another thing is the momentum little aspect. Don't really understand it, and I don't really think it carries a lot of weight. Another thing is you do get offers for like objectives. I think that's kind of cool. You can gain some more money that way. So that's another little element that's thrown in there. It's a solid career mode, and it's definitely something that they can continue to build on and expand. Same cliche thing we've been saying this whole time, really. But they got something to work with, and it's solid. So I can agree with Kane's rating of 7 out of 10.
And then something else I'd like to throw in, you also got those video clips from the drivers that they send you. Obviously, I mentioned the one from Keselowski that you get at the very beginning. But then you get, random clips from, like Austin Cindric, who's like, hey, listen, man, the guys don't like how you're running out there. Yeah, coming from the guy who wrecked Kaz Grala at Mosport. Yeah, because some of them don't even make sense. But,
they're just cheesy.
At the same time, I know, it's so fucking cheesy. And they don't even sound. They sound like robots. They're like, great job, man. Keep it up. It's like so generic.
It is
too. So
it's kind of it's a lame element. I get what they're going with, but at the same time, it doesn't get the effect that they probably wanted out of it. So something they got to improve on for sure.
And our next category is the challenge mode. And while it's not quite like the lightning challenges of Thunder 2004 or some of the earlier EA Sports games, it still gives you something fun to do. The default pack comes with 29 challenges. When you start a challenge, it gives you a quick video setting up the challenge. By the way, all the intro videos are narrated by Claire B. Lang of MRN, always a favorite. Then you do it, and I think the good thing about the challenges on here is, well, some are kind of redundant and boring or don't really do anything. Like it's not really an exciting moment that they picked or whatever. It is a lot simpler and quicker and more replay value than the Heat Evolution ones where they have you do like 20 laps at Atlanta or something. No, this one is 2 laps at Atlanta or something like that, and you just have to make it on fuel or just avoid a wreck or something. So I think the simplicity is definitely a plus. And then if you beat the challenge, you get a video where it's the driver of the challenge giving a little rundown of the track. And so I think it's set up well. It could have a little more character to it, but it's a different mode. It gives some variety, and I'm glad they kept it around.
Well, I do agree with all the points you said, obviously. It's another thing that's improved on from Heat Evolution, for sure. But it does get a little bit lame. It doesn't have and hold the same weight as, like, NASCAR 4 with their lightning challenges, as you kind of already pointed out. And it's just like, they really need to put just a little more thought into it next time. Hell, they could even have less challenges. They had 29 regular challenges, and I know they're going to add some more with DLC packs. There was only one single one with the Toyota free September pack. Kind of lame there. It's just, the moments were kind of weird. Some of them were fun. I liked the wreck avoidance one with David Reagan at Talladega. That's probably the best one. and those were the best ones back in the day too. So they did have variety, but they were just too easy. Ultimately, that's what really killed it for me. Or it has to be another middle of the road score. I give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's about right. And I think one other thing I forgot to mention was it's like why should I do these challenges? Like, what's really their purpose? I wish you could unlock stuff by beating them, not a simple video that tells you how to drive a track that probably everyone already knows, except if it's like a Mo Sport or something. So I just wish there was more content instead of saying just run this if you feel like it for fun and then do something else. So
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, you know, I don't need David Reagan telling me, hey, just hold it wide open at Talladega. Thanks for that. Yeah, totally right on that one.
All right, and then our next category, the paint booth. Our personal favorite thing from all time, from NASCAR Inside Line and 13, 14, and 15.
13.
But unfortunately, in NASCAR Heat 2, it's pretty much non-existent. It's basically a watered-down version of the paint booth we got in NASCAR Thunder 2003 and 2004.
very watered down.
Yeah, very. I mean, first of all, you get maybe 10 base paint schemes to choose from, and then you only get 4 numbers, which is kind of lame. I mean, I kind of want to run my own number, but I have to choose from the 4 that they give you, and you don't even get to change the number font. It's literally the same number font, and all you get to do is change the colors. And then, if that's not bad enough for the sponsors, yeah, you don't even get to place them on your own. You literally select which sponsor you want, and it just appears on the car, and it's usually so fucking small. And it just looks so out of place on the car. It looks like it looks like I'm running a starting park here. It just looks that lame.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The placement's horrible. The sizing is horrible. It's just, there's not much to offer. And of course, they're going to throw in some shit in future DLC. But is it really going to matter? Not really. If you're just a little bit creative, you can come up with something decent looking. But ultimately, it's just like, man, it's a wasted feature, really. I know people wanted it back. We all wanted it back, but it's not anywhere near it should be. It's one of the worst things about this game, to be honest with you, and it doesn't really affect the game all that much. It's just there, but it sucks.
I mean,
They got a
it's
lot.
like why couldn't you add more numbers? Why couldn't you add more templates at the start? I mean, it's just a lot of things that were just poor design choices, not that they actually couldn't do it. I mean, if you actually could not make a better paint, I don't know. I'm sad. I can't. I just got to stop because I'm not going to go anywhere with this. Would it be safe to say we could give this like a rating of a 2 because it's really non-existent?
Yes, I think that's a safe rating. They really got to improve
Definitely
this.
is.
Woo! Ouch. 2 of 10.
Yeah.
Alright, our next category will be paint schemes and the future DLC paint schemes. There is over 100 drivers in this game due to the fact that they have a full field in all 3 series. That's great. So right off the bat, there's over 100 paint schemes. So that's awesome. But in the Cup series, most people have 2 and sometimes even 3 or 4, such as the Toyota ones. And there's a lot to offer, and I think it's really good how they started off right away having a nice selection of paint schemes. Also to throw in the fact that they have beer paint schemes. If you're over 21, they're automatically unlocked, as well as a tobacco one in the Xfinity series with Daniel Hammock's Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff. So there's a decent amount here, and I think that's a great thing. The most paint schemes ever in a NASCAR game. That's clear, obviously, because, well, they have the most drivers ever in a NASCAR game. So this is a really good thing, and with future DLC, they're going to continue to expand on it with packs. Their Hot Pass, $29.99. If you buy it, you're stupid, but if you do, you're going to get a lot of great stuff, I'm sure. Like with Darlington, whenever those paint schemes come out, I like that. I think that they did a really great job of going out and getting the licensing, and they did what they could here.
Oh yeah, they really did what they could. Like you said, I would not pay for any extra ones, especially not the the pack that came out on day one. I'm not spending an extra $10 just to get paint schemes that could have been in and should have been in from the start. And then I think the other packs are just too expensive as well. But at least thanks to Toyota, with all their money, we've mentioned that plenty of times in other podcasts, at least they have free packs, so that makes us happy. So if we like driving as Toyotas, we're set. So I mean, I love paint schemes. We all love our paint schemes, obviously. We have our design background. So it's just very nice that they paid attention to this, I guess small because it's just for looks, but very important detail. So I'm very happy with it. I mean, what would you say?
I think it's about an 8, honestly. There's a lot there, and just by me being a tight ass, and we're tight asses, and we don't want to spend the money for it. And realistically, I'm sorry, I can't validate spending $30 extra. DLC is one thing that will chap my ass for this game and any other title that wants to offer DLC. I get why you got to do it, but at the same time, it sucks. I mean, I'm happy with the selection that they gave. There's a lot to run. There really is. So it's not a disappointing thing at all. So I'd bump it up. I think 8's fair.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree.
And then just aside from that, just DLC in general, they're gonna have some spotter packs. They got challenges. So, I mean, they're coming out with good stuff. It's just a matter of if you want to buy it, and I'll leave that up to you guys. So, not bad. I mean, not bad.
Not bad. Let's move on to another category, and that is the menu layouts. It's kind of a smaller element, but still something that needs to be talked about. And it is greatly improved, I feel, over NASCAR Heat Evolution, like everything else. But it is more interactive with the video montage you got behind it. It's cool looking. And there is one thing I gotta hate on with the menus, and it's a very small element, but it's the pause menu within a race. It's so plain. There's 3 options. That's nothing. I mean, NASCAR 15, they had more options. It was cooler. You could actually adjust your audio, take a picture within the race, stuff like that. There was just more available things that you would think, especially the audio and like the options. Like, there isn't any options to do that. You'd actually have to quit your race if you want to change the audio or adjust your controller settings, stuff like that. You would think that's a reasonable thing that would be there, but it's just not. It's not. I don't get it. And the worst thing, oh man, this is so stupid and cringy, and I hated it from Heat Evolution, and they kept it. When you go to quit a race, there's a weird looking picture of an official saying, if you quit the race, you're gonna lose your progress. I don't give a shit. I know. I'm quitting the race for a reason, or I'm restarting the race for a reason. And there's just a weird slap picture of Grandpa Munster fucking telling me this. I don't care. Like, it's so creepy and weird. And why? Why is he there? I don't need to see that.
Who are you?
Who are you? He's a person too. That's racist against that guy. Come on. I'll go that far. That's how annoyed I am about something so minuscule. It's just weird. It's creepy. Kind of like the weird creepy manager that was in NASCAR Heat Evolution. Why? There's just a random picture that pops up. Hey! No. No. Get rid of that. I swear to God, if that's in the next game, I will say something about it. And then they'll just ignore, or they'll laugh at me, either one. But still, it's stupid. Come on. And our final category is just a generalized category of miscellaneous, very small, minuscule details, and some things that are there and aren't. Pit crews are actually uniform matching. So if you change the paint scheme of your car, let's just pretend Dale Jr., you pick Jr.'s car, you pick the nationwide paint scheme, your pit crew will have nationwide pit crew uniforms. If you switch it to the Axalta, they'll have Axalta uniforms. I like that. That's pretty cool. Another thing is pit road stalls. They are actually sponsors. They have your official sponsors on them. When have you ever seen that? I mean, I remember NASCAR 15, all there were was just blank colored stalls. Like, there was just nothing there. They were dull. But you actually see them in this game, so that's kind of cool. That's a really small detail. Another small thing, and this is more of a dislike. Now, I like how the trophies for career and championship mode and Even in quick race, you earn your trophies. First of all, there's no place for them to go. There's no trophy room, so that's not there. Now, to expand on that a little bit, the trophies for the Xfinity and the Truck Series, they're the exact same. Now, the Xfinity has their one trophy and the Trucks have their one trophy, but for every single track, no matter where you win, it is the exact same trophy. Why? Okay, I understand if you can't get the licensing for all the races and blah blah blah, I get that part of it. But you're telling me you couldn't have changed the trophy model to something different? Seriously? Come on. I notice it. It's small, but I see it. And I don't like that. There are such other details like the barrels. They don't move. They're there. They just don't move. Unlike NASCAR 15, I liked how you could smash into them and you get a little bit of water flying up.
A couple more miscellaneous things before we forget. There is no track map. All the way back to Dirt to Daytona and the original NASCAR Heat to Heat Evolution and now Heat 2, they have still not figured out how to put a freaking track map in the game. It's pretty darn important. I mean, even NASCAR 98 could do it. It's nice to know where other cars are on the track if they're not in your immediate vicinity. I want to know if there's a car stopped on the backstretch. And it's just an important thing. You kind of need it. Obviously, you don't have it in real life, but like every other racing game except this company can do it. I don't understand it, and they really have to put it in. It's something that every player wants, and I don't know why they just can't do it. And then another thing, we kind of hit on it in the car handling, is you're very limited with camera angles. You cannot look around your car in a 360 fashion. You cannot look back with a simple button. You don't have more than 3 views. You have third person, cockpit, and hood cam, which I hate the hood cam. It's not the roof cam. I've always liked the roof cam, and it's not that hard to put in. Even I think NASCAR 98 did a good job with that. I like more views. It's just, it personalizes your experience. Certain guys like to race with the bumper cam. Certain guys like to race with a farther back third person view. I just think, just one of those things, the more options, the better. And it was just some design choices that just kind of fell through and they forgot about.
I want to add one more thing about the not having a track map. It's an important element online, whether you realize it or not, because let's say you're running a league race, you're pit, under green, and you can't quite tell where everybody's at, because again, as the mirror is very deceiving, you don't quite know when somebody's going to approach up on you and when it's a safe time to blend. You try to use your best judgment, but it would be so much more helpful if you had a track map. Seriously, it's so simple. It should have been in there, and it would be incredibly helpful in a situation like that. Another miscellaneous feature is the Creator driver, and that's back from Heat Evolution and into this game as well. You can choose between a male or a female, and there's many different selections that you get to choose from. You get to choose your face, change your hairstyle all up, even everything from your eyebrows to your nose to your chin. I mean, there's a decent amount of customization here, and for what it is, it's actually pretty nice. I only wish I cared a little bit more and you got to see your character more, because it's not really there. You can't really see him too often, but unless you're winning. So just wish you had a little bit more of a purpose, but like I said, I do like the customization options. Let's not get lost on that. It is pretty solid, so they definitely need to keep that for future games. There's things that could be there. There's more there, at least, than NASCAR Heat Evolution. So, again, not all the way there with smaller details, but at least they got some things in there. They're trying. It's not terrible, so we'll give them that. But some things, definitely like the trophy room. The trophy room's always bugged me, and especially if you're going to actually have the real trophies for the Cup Series, I'd like to actually go look at them. Cue NASCAR 04, because their trophy room was amazing. Do something like that. So, for the miscellaneous and small details, I think we'll just go right down the middle. Again, another 5 out of 10, because really, it's not great, but it's not terrible either. Alright, well, of our total of 12 categories, we have rounded all the scores out. It rounds out to a 6.0 out of 10. We feel that's a very fair score for this game. Much improvement, as we have said too many times, I can guarantee it. But it is the truth. It's an improvement over Heat Evolution, and they're going to continue to get better with it. I still believe that this game was a misfire in some ways, like they could have added more. There's particular elements that feel incomplete and they just should be more improved, but this isn't bad. We don't dislike it, and we're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna get our fun out of it, and once its tenure is up, hopefully the next game comes around and is even better, and that's what we're all certainly hoping for. And there's things that they need to improve on, like the physics, like the tire wear. Those are the two biggest things they have to continue to improve on if they want the entire game to be better and feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want a more casual game, a little more on the arcade side, then get this game. I mean, I like the more simulation style games, and even I like this one. It's just a nice solid game, like you mentioned.
It's certainly not for the hardcore racing fan, that's for sure. But like I said, there's still fun to be had here, and if you do the right things and you find the right people to play with online, you play with your friends, you can really have a good time in this game, and you ultimately won't be disappointed, and that's really the goal here for now. This is what we have. Take Heat Evolution if you bought it, throw it in the garbage, never look at it again, and stick with this game. Well, that covers it. We feel like we really dissected into it. I'm sure there's something we missed, and we'll think about it afterwards. If you haven't bought it, it's not a bad pickup. And if you want to wait for the price to go down a little bit, it's not a bad option either. But we'd all recommend getting it. I hope this maybe swayed your opinion in some sort of way. Hopefully you agreed. If you disagreed, that's fine too. You can feel free to leave a comment, and we'll address it. And but that does it. We appreciate you listening. So for Kane Jr. 88, he didn't say a whole lot. He needs to do more racing. Get a PS Plus card, bastard. You need to play online with us.
Yep.
You're not gonna live it
I'm trying to
down.
save money.
It's
Aren't we all?
$30.
Still, do it, damn it. You want a league
Besides,
race?
my brother owes me a card.
Yeah, that bastard.
Yeah.
For Thermite 917, and for myself, Junior Nation 578, we're online. We play. We probably ran into it, and you probably don't like us. Actually, we're not dirty racers. Seriously, we're not. But if you drive like a jackass, we'll drive you like a jackass. Just saying. So don't be that guy. But this has been Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. You've been Behind the Wall, and thank you for listening.
So at the end, we'll just be like, Kane, what's your rating? Just give a number. You don't have to say any other comments. You already talked about it. That
Yeah.
too. Oh, it scares me like every time. Especially if I have my headset on.
It is so loud. But now, expanding further on the trophies thing, for the Xfinity and the Truck Series, they're the exact same What the hell was that?
Kane bought a pig.
I just snorted.
Or Tony Stewart's here with pork chop.
Yeah.
You are a pork chop, you son bitch. God damn, Kane. This kind of blends off of the tire wear and how crappy it is. Jesus, Kane, you're breathing.
Yeah, that works. And even though, like, the only gripe I have with the AI is pit stops. I mean, first of all, tire wear just does not seem to affect the AI at
We
all.
just talked about
Holy shit, Kane. We literally just went over that.
Oh, sorry.
What did we talk about being repetitive? That was the biggest thing, not to be repetitive. And that was
the problem is
literally-
he didn't even know though.
He didn't know we were doing the damn review.
He zoned out.
Totally zoned out.
And, I mean, I don't even know what else to say about it. I mean, it's obviously a solid selection for, yeah, I guess if you can call it that, but I just...
Kane, all of this shit's getting cut out. You literally just rambled like a fucker.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, if you hit something with the the freight run, if,
You can't even turn spotter off, technically. Get to bed, Gavin. But
yeah.
he's definitely he's not bad, and you know, it certainly isn't like the original NASCAR the game 2011 spotter where he was like, I just dropped my hot dog on a fan. Some moron like that.
Yeah.
Did that damn dog have relish on it? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he was obsessed with his wieners.
He was obsessed with the wiener. That's for sure.